Investment advisory services offered through Independent Solutions Wealth Management and Blackridge Asset Management, LLC. Peak Brokerage Services, LLC is not an affiliate of Independent Solutions or Financial Guys, LLC.
Podcast, baby!
You're listening to The Financial Guys.
This is the sickness that is liberalism.
All these liberals love Bill Clinton. Let's put the budget back to where Billy was.
People like Andrew Cuomo, people like Barack Obama, people like that have no business experience or skill whatsoever.
Here's Glenn Wiggle and Mike Lomas.
There you go. That's a better one. All right, welcome back. Podcast number whatever. I have no clue. Financial Guys, place where money meets politics. In studio with us, David Dipietro, Assemblyman David Dipietro. Appreciate you spending some time with us here. Always fun. I don't even know where to start, David. We can talk about national issues, a new asylum rule I'd like to get to. We got to start out with New York State. I don't know how you do it. I really don't. And you're smiling. So you're a happy guy.
I'm home.
I've always said I don't know how you drive from Buffalo to Albany and not slam your head in a brick wall and then just drive back, because especially now that the Democrats are basically controlling everything, your point is, and I put that. Well, I see them ramming. I think the everyday conservative here in New York State sees them ramming in the big stuff. That's what you hear about, right? We hear about the SAFE Act. We hear about the abortion, aborting babies as they're coming out of the wombs. We don't really hear about all the little stuff that every single time and every single day you're saying, boy, it just is nonstop with guys like Andrew Cuomo. And they're just going to push as much garbage down your throats as possible with the assumption that, well, maybe they won't, have total control. It's amazing to me. We've always said there's three men in a room, but there was still at least another level of protection for a little while. It seems like that's all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone. The state has turned so bad. And I was telling you earlier that normally we pass, not us, but we pass about 150, 200 bills a year, maybe. Okay. This year, with the state being totally taken over by New York City, they rammed over 900 bills.
900 bills.
And the governor has vowed to sign every single one of them.
Unreal.
Okay. And they're in there.
And I'm saying unreal because it's all baby killing, job killing. I want to move to Florida type bills, right?
Oh, every one of them. Every one of them. Now that the left has taken over, it's gone completely upside down. It's crazy what's going on in Albany. I have people come and visit, and they'll sit right next to me during the chambers, and without a blink of an eye, within 20 minutes, every single one over 7 years has said, "What's going on? Did that just happen? Did that really happen?" And they sit there and laugh about it because they can't believe when you sit and watch the corruption in front of your eyes. It's so blatant, and the normal citizen can't comprehend that.
Well, it's funny because I think I was talking to you, and you mentioned a while ago that you thought they were going to try to go after giving illegals driver's licenses. And I was sort of like, nah, that's not going to happen. Oh, there's too many people in this state. And what's amazing is even in this state, the majority of people do not want to give or grant illegal aliens a driver's license in this state.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, a few weeks later, there it goes, getting rammed right down our throats.
Well, that goes with a lot of the big issues that you hear about, that we hear about on TV. It's not just the driver's license. It's like 90% of people don't want to give illegals driver's license. Farm unionization, which has started to kill farms.
Yeah.
In New York State, there isn't one farmer. When they held their hearings across the state, they dragged in. The funny thing was they dragged in the same 3 or 4 people, immigrant workers who are here legally but working. They dragged in the same 3 or 4 to tell how they want unionization. Yet when you go to every single farm, there wasn't one representative of a farm there, and that's what we get. So the people didn't want it, but again, New York City driven. Same with things like the DREAM Act, full-term abortion. Those things, the most of the state doesn't want it, but it's getting rammed down our throat.
You look at your district, by the way, South Wales, East Aurora. Those are farmers.
That's all.
Those are farmers. So you've got New York City, by the way. It's amazing to me is that New York City, these big green people, right? They're going to save the world and plant all the trees. None of them are planting any trees, and now they're destroying our farmland. Really, they're destroying the farmers that are going to provide them their food.
Well, the hypocrisy drips off the walls in Albany from the New York City people.
Yeah.
Every day.
But it just shows you how that New York City could care less about the rest of this state.
They
Zero,
do.
right?
Anything west of the Hudson, we laugh about it because there's a picture in Albany where they've got New York City, they've got the Hudson River, and it looks out, and then all you see is a field and then San Francisco. that's what they think of the rest of the state. And
That's unreal.
New York City, if they are there in their own bubble.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy bubble.
Yeah, hard to believe that we could get people thinking like that. You were talking a little bit about criminal justice and some of the rules that were getting rammed down our throat in New York State. Maybe you can comment on that. I mean, actually, one of the you were talking about a case where an illegal immigrant was arrested, and what the result of that would be if some of these rules went through.
Right, no bail. It's so certain misdemeanors and such now will be automatically without bail. You have to release these people. Well, the New York Times did a piece a couple months ago about when this came out about 2 people that got arrested. One was Guatemalan, and they had over 300 pounds of fentanyl, enough literally to kill the East Coast. And it was crazy. Under the new rule, the new law, these 2 people would have been let go with no bail. Do you think that person from Guatemala, illegal alien, was going to show back up to court in a month?
That's hard to believe. That's really, truly hard to believe that anybody with a brain in their head would be proposing anything to let a scumbag like that out on the streets.
But the new law would have mandated that he get let go without bail.
300 pounds of fentanyl, enough to kill the East Coast, and we would just let him go.
And you let him go.
Well, he'll come back for bail, though.
Of course he will. He'll come back and sit there and get sentenced to 30, 40 years. Of course he will.
Fine. Is there any hope for New York State? I mean, really, truly, we've been saying this for a long time. You've been fighting the good fight, and you have for a long time said, hey, guys, look, I know it feels like we're sometimes not accomplishing stuff, but at least we're stopping a lot of stuff. Proof is in the pudding this go around.
Right.
Because of what you said before, a few hundred, what is it, 900 laws now going through?
About 900.
900 going through as opposed to 150.
Right.
So as a boxer, getting hit 900 times or 150 times, at least 150 times, maybe you eventually can build up some energy to win the long term. I don't see it. I'll tell you, in our financial practice, I see clients every single day, Monday through Friday, coming into our office asking me, are you licensed in Florida? Can I still deal with you? Are you licensed in Texas? Are you licensed in Tennessee or Kentucky? I'm leaving. I'm sick of it. I'll tell you what, for a long time, it was a little bit of the weather, but it was mainly taxes. Now I'm starting to see some of the social issues, and specifically this, full-term abortion. I cannot tell you how many clients said to me that put me over the edge.
Right.
It's one thing to take my money. It's another thing to support and live in a state where we're aborting babies as they're coming out of the womb. That's it. That's it. It put me over the edge.
I have 2 families called me immediately a couple weeks ago after the vaccination bill. And a gentleman just called me 2 days ago from East Aurora who's got 3 kids, and he doesn't know what to do because that law takes effect in like 30 days. He has to have his kids registered for school, and if they're not entirely vaccinated and his aren't, then they can't go to school. He doesn't know what to do.
This is the same liberal school district, by the way, who thinks nothing of saying we need to bring in all these illegal immigrants with all these diseases. That's okay. That's not a problem. But
yeah, it's crazy when you get someone who's really, a family that's passionate about it. And his point was, look, Dave, we've had a couple vaccinations, but under the new law, you have to have all of them. So normally they would spread them out over how many years. Now, if you haven't had them, you've got 30 days to literally get 20 shots or whatever it is, how many vaccinations to get caught up. I mean, that's putting a gun to your head, literally.
Yeah.
That's parents are like, it's freaking them out, and they're looking at moving. I mean, why does New York State continually put laws into effect where people have to leave? And I'll tell you why. And we came out a year ago, and you'll remember this. They told us to get out. They told us we're going after you. The governor came out. The governor himself said, if you're conservative, right to life, pro-gun, conservative, we want you out of New York State.
Yeah.
And and he said, I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen.
Yep.
And they are.
Yep.
You go to New York City, I'd come on the floor with me. The people from New York City do not like us. They don't want us here. We're a nuisance to them.
Yep.
And the governor came out and expounded on that and let the cat out of the bag. They're trying to make us leave.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons.
Well, they're doing a great job. They're winning.
They're winning, and that's
They're
why I
winning.
have split the state. I think the only way we're going to win this now,
Yeah.
because I don't know if we don't get the Senate back, we're done.
Where's that going, by the way? Are you gaining momentum on that? I mean, that's
I'm gaining a lot of momentum.
big project, right?
Yeah, that's
it's a huge project.
Yeah, I'm trying to get everybody to go to splitthestate.com, sign the petition, and then we're getting momentum. I've got a Senate sponsor, which they said I would never get. So I have a Senate sponsor, and then the leader of my conference. Normally, when a bill comes out, if the leader goes on it, that's like a green light for other people. All the people in the conference say, "Oh, you know what? It's okay."
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I put the bill out, the leader in my conference came out and said, "I want to co-sponsor it."
Wow.
And so it's gaining momentum. It's gaining traction. It's starting to go across the state, and that's what we want to do.
Before the break, let's just talk about that splitting the state. We turn more red than Texas. If we're able to do this.
100%.
I mean, what's so sad is, and I sound like a broken record, but we hold the Pagula family out as superheroes here in Western New York, and God bless them. They showed up, they bought the Sabres, they bought the Bills.
Right.
They put a bunch of money into downtown Buffalo. Without that private money, which you remember Byron Brown was shocked at how fast his building went up. He's like, I can't believe it. Like, amazing when it's private money, huh? And not a government agency. But we've held them out to be these superheroes, but yet none of us, you and I don't have the opportunity to make that kind of money here in New York State. We have to move our families somewhere else to make that, to do what he did, which was frack. And we now know that fracking, which is mainly air and it's way down, and all the garbage about your house is going to blow up. That's all BS.
Right.
But we don't have that opportunity to do that. And we don't need to use a lot of our own natural resources, a lot of our own land to really, really make a ton of money and get this economy growing here in Western New
No,
York.
you can take, as soon as we split New York State, and one thing I want to let everybody really understand is we're not making a 51st state. That is not going to happen. The federal government is not going to put another star on the flag. If there was going to be a 51st state, it'd be Puerto Rico. It's not. So California is not going to go into 3 states, New York, Illinois. But what we can do, by law, is split into regions. Autonomous regions. We would have our own governor. We would control our own destiny. So the Niagara Power Authority, we would control that power. We could control fracking. If we want to frack in the southern tier, which would bring billions of dollars in, which would offset New York City overnight.
Trillions of dollars of multiplying economic growth.
We would become redder than Texas. And those are just a couple examples, but just getting rid of a lot of the unfunded mandates that come from New York City would turn our state red. People don't understand that. They think, oh my gosh, we're going to lose a few dollars from New York City in tax revenue.
Who cares? They're losing it anyways. They are losing it anyways. We have an office down in Palm Beach, and I can tell you every single time I'm down there, I meet somebody new who's from New York City that said, I'm sick of the garbage, I'm leaving. And who's leaving this state is not the welfare recipient. It's not the free handout person. It's the business owner who's sick and tired of the taxes. When we come back, maybe we could talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff that's being rammed down our throats. I also wanted to talk to you about the new asylum rule and your thoughts on that. Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, Money Talks, place where money meets politics. Assemblyman David Dipietro in studio with us. All righty, Rochelle Tadaro giving me the number 1 sign there to ready to go. That was the number 1, right? That's okay. Mike Lomas, Club Legal, place where money meets politics. By the way, go to our website, all our social media Twitter, Facebook. Everything should be, you just go to our website, you'll find everything there, financialguys.com. Upcoming workshops, we manage money for a living. If you need our help, use this as a resource. Again, our website, Financial Guys. In studio with me, Assemblyman David Dipietro. And, it's funny, David, whenever I have you on, I feel like I don't really have an agenda. I wrote down a few notes, but it's hard not to jump all around because there's just so much crap everywhere, right? It's funny, I want to talk about the asylum rule. It's funny this week, you got to love Trump, man. He comes out and says, look at to these, 4 same women who hate America, who their life is miserable, they're repressed. He says, basically, love America or get out, right? And he brings up a really valid economic point. This is from a money management guy. Look at the countries you came from are totally messed up. And you want our government to look like your government. Now, I mean, what do we call those people? Smart? I've had people criticize us and say, well, you continue to call these people dumb. I don't know. I mean, if I came from a country who women couldn't vote or, the unemployment rates were at 25%, and I'm at a place where the unemployment rates are at 3.6%, you can basically get a job if you breathe. If you walk down the street, you can get a job. I would say I don't want to go back to the other place with 20% unemployment rates. Yet they continue to force and push people and try to push that agenda. And of course, when Trump comes out and says, I'm going to teach you an economic lesson, go back there, oh, he's a racist. Oh, he's a racist.
That's all they have
racist.
now, Mike. And you know what?
And by the way, their Democrats are losing that game big time.
Yeah, that's
the black community is stepping up and saying, you know what? They're now voting that, and now the polls are showing that the black community actually thinks Trump's doing a better job with the economy than Obama.
Of course,
Yeah.
and that's the big underlying factor is the economy is doing great, and these people are so unhinged.
Yes.
And so
they don't know
far
what to
gone.
do. They thought the only answer is big government.
Yeah.
Now he's coming in, deregulating things, and things are working better.
Things
Look
are
at
working
that.
better. But all they have is the race card.
Yes.
If you notice, no matter what happens, even in New York, on the assembly floor, I go against the full-term abortion for my own personal beliefs, my religious beliefs. Yeah. I'm against full-term abortion. I'm sorry, I'm against abortion. When I did the same floor speech pretty much I do every year because I'm the floor leader against that bill. Well, it passed this year. Well, so I get up and I do my same speech pretty much. And for the first time, I got attacked by 7 different Democrats right after I gave my speech. That even though they knew it was going to pass, something stirred in them. They had to attack me. And the word racist came out.
So
how do
funny.
you be a racist if you're pro-life? How is that? I don't get it. I'm trying to save babies, not.
Especially in a state where more black babies, I think, are aborted than white babies.
That erupted on the floor a couple years ago. The gentleman behind me, who was new, brought out that fact. He was debate. We were in debate, and he said, it's sad. I want all life, all children. He goes, but in New York City, which is our crown jewel, in New York City, more black babies are aborted than born.
Right.
And that's a fact.
So
and when he said that, the place erupted.
That's when you know
racism came out, and they had to stop. We left for the day.
But that's when you know it's a mental illness, right? To me, that's when you know the left is mentally ill. When you're showing them facts like that,
that's right,
and they're still calling you racist, that's when you know you're sick.
The
facts aren't going to ever matter. They're not going to matter. You're going to continue to do what you need to do, which is destroy New York State. New York State will eventually end up looking a lot like California. We're going to have 10 cities.
It already does in places.
Yeah, we're going to have to. That's just going to get worse and worse and worse. The gap between the very rich and the very poor is going to continue to get bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. The rich, and especially the elite liberals in New York City, like Andrew Cuomo, he'll have a fence around his yard. He'll have a nice border wall around his yard. But the rest of New York City will suffer, and we'll continue to see that gap.
You're exactly right.
Let's talk about the asylum rule. The asylum rule, I think the real point here, again, correct me if I'm wrong with Donald Trump, is to make things safer. We cannot have our border overwhelmed with people, and these people just floating into our country and then disappearing, right? We're not getting the best of the best. And that Trump has said that, and that message worked because he won. It's fun. I laugh. Yeah. I continue to hear, well, I'm worried about Donald Trump winning next time. And I'll say, why? well, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like him. There's a lot of people that didn't like him last time, right? Guess what? The best candidate that I could possibly think of to run for office as a Democrat was Hillary Clinton, right? She fit all the cards. She could talk she could do the slang if she was in the inner city.
Yeah.
She could talk like a country girl if she was out on a farm, right? She had hundreds of millions of dollars, name recognition. Her husband was the godfather of the Democrat Party, right? She had everything at every call. Oh, by the way, she was a female. Check that card too, right? And Donald Trump whacked her. I laugh. I think you see these nut jobs that are running now. I mean, at least Hillary was smart enough to sort of be more middle of the road sometimes when it came to. They're just like, you know what? Free everything, free everything, free everything, free everything. And then of course you got Touchy Joe, who will probably end up touching somebody along the way and counting himself out. But I'm like, bring it on. I think now you're going to get a very clear choice when it comes to a presidential candidate. You're either going to get Donald Trump, which is more capitalism, free market, let's deregulate things, let's get this country back to where it was 30, 40, 50 years ago, keep us back in track, or you're going to get Venezuela. That's the difference.
That's
right? So I didn't mean to your thoughts on this asylum rule. And,
you're right.
And, now the asylum rule is saying, look, if you're going to pass through Mexico, we're just not going to sign you up here. They need to do it before we're going to give you the chance to declare asylum.
Well, which is smart. And it all comes down to, which I can never understand, why the rule of law has just been trampled. People don't care about the law. But in New York State, they don't care about the Constitution or the law.
Yeah.
But I love using
unless
the
it's going to
analogy.
benefit their thought, right? Because they're already saying this asylum law is illegal. And I think, wait a minute, you care about illegal
Yeah,
now?
since when do they care about anything that's legal?
Yeah.
We debate them every day and call out their stuff as being illegal. They could care less about the law. But I love the analogy that, why do you build a wall? Because you don't want someone walking through your backyard and just coming in and jumping in your pool, or coming in your backyard and going on your swing set. It doesn't mean you don't want them, but you want them to come through the front door.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why you got a door. You want people. I want people when they come visit me. I'll welcome everyone. Come through the front door, and that's where we just seem to lose it. Where I don't understand the left. That we want them open borders. Why would we be the only country in the entire world with open borders?
Yeah, that's what I say. Sneak into Mexico, see how they treat you.
That's right.
See how they treat
That's
you.
instant
right?
jail time.
My favorite is, these kids, the kids are being separated from their parents. I don't know. If I'm dealing some heroin and they catch me, I think they're going to separate me from my children for a little bit, right?
Exactly.
It's an illegal act. I'm being separated. Most of these children are coming over. They're sending them over by themselves.
Right. They're not. They're not. 90% of the kids coming over aren't coming over with parents.
That's right.
They're not coming over. They're coming
Of course
over
they're separated.
they're coming over with pimps.
Yeah.
They're coming over with surrogates. They're coming over with. They're being paid to go over here.
Yep.
It's all a setup. This is not just a free will of families that are fleeing poverty. 90% of those kids aren't coming over here with parents.
Yeah.
That should tell you something right there.
A few, and I appreciate you spending some time with us. I know you are crazy busy, and you are nice enough to sneak in here. I wanted to just, if there's any other thing on that budget, you've been saying this for a while, and you continue to pound this. Look at folks. It's not just about the abortion law here. It's not just about the SAFE Act. It's about the 900 other things that they're going to ram down your throat, and the list, including the example you gave in the last segment about, no bail for criminals, which blows my mind. I mean, legal immigrant comes in here with enough fentanyl to kill half the East Coast, and they can just walk.
And they walk.
That's good. The green light bill, I got to ask you about that. Really, the intention, I think, is to me, the intention is, well, first of all, what blows my mind is this is a legal document, right? Which I think is, what type of federal precedents can we go? What can we use on a federal level to say this is just unconstitutional? Do you think it'll hold up in court as we're going to challenge this thing over the next few months?
The driver's license issue is talking about the driver's license issue with matter of fact, a week from Saturday on the 26th, I think it is, I'm holding a forum with Mickey Kearns, our county clerk, and sheriff, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about, because Mickey, was under the gun.
Yeah.
He's the leader in the state. He actually went to the clerks conference months ago and tried to rally the clerks against this. There is no a driver's license is the gateway to everything in New York State
Yep.
and in most states.
Yep.
So that's why they want the driver's license. Only about 5% of illegal aliens drive. Okay, this isn't like 90% drive and they can't get a license, because it's not. The fact is, it's a form of identification for all sorts of benefits, plus voter identification. So now these people who are not allowed to vote, they're not U.S. citizens, now they will become eligible to vote. But also, if I lose my driver's license or you use your driver's license, you got to bring in 3 to 5 different forms of identification, from your electric bill to your birth certificate
That's
to your
what
passport.
Glenn was saying last
Okay?
week. He felt like he had to give up his firstborn to get his
now,
license.
so now, yeah, I get emails on that all the time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an illegal alien, they're not. There's the only form. If you bring in a birth certificate from Guatemala in that language, the clerk has to look at it. They don't know what it is, and they're gonna have to officially prove it, and you get your driver's license. We're going to be issuing driver's license to so many people. We have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
They can use false names, and that's going to lead to a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
That's going to lead to a lot of legal trouble.
It's anybody with a brain in their head knows that is the first step to getting them to vote.
That's
right?
exactly
The
it.
Democrats are losing votes across the country. It's the first. They're losing the black vote. They're losing that support. So then now they have to find out some other victim, some other class of victim.
That's why they want to come over from Mexico. Get down to it. They want them to flood the South with voting.
Yeah. Last thought, Trump and building the wall. It was a big campaign promise.
God bless him.
The left and everybody the left is fighting him tooth and nail. Parts of that wall are going up. Do you think that's going to be a big issue going into 2020?
No, I don't. I think the voting public that are for this president understand all the great things he's done. He's built about 10% or 15% of the wall. He is moving with what he can. And I would firmly blame it on the Republicans in Congress and Senate. And that's not even going to be an issue. I think people understand it, and they understand, and he'll campaign that with this time, if he gets reelected and he gets the Congress, probably the first thing he's going to do is say, give me the funding. And I think every congressman this time will immediately vote for the funding to really get that wall done. And I think you'll see that wall done within 2 years after he gets reelected.
I know you got to sneak out here one more time.
No,
if
go
we
ahead.
want to split the state, how do people get in touch with you?
Go to
How do they help?
splitthestate.com, splitthestate.com. That's the first wave that we get as many people to sign that petition as possible. And then we have Split the State t-shirts. Those are pretty cool if you want to buy that. That helps out the cause.
How do we get a bunch of
some
that?
money. They're out right on the website.
Okay, on your website.
On splitthestate.com.
All right, splitthestate.com. So
But,
look at
we
Rochelle.
need-
She's the boss of that.
With the people understand the voting structure is heavily weighted to New York City now. There's probably not a way to get it back.
Yeah.
So next year is going to be the same as this year. They got all this stuff out: Dream Act, driver's licenses, voting,
I forgot
full-term
about the
abortion.
Dream Act. I forgot about giving them free college education.
Yeah, all that stuff they did it this year because next year they told us they're only going to do probably 5 major things, only 5 things. But they feel the public is going to forget what happened this year, and then they'll going into an election season.
Any thought of the Republicans actually getting back anything in this state?
I think we can win back some seats, but not the majority, and we'll continue to get what we got this year.
It's a shame we can't get somebody, and I get it, right? Like anybody who runs for office, like I look at you all the time and think, God bless you, man, because it is really a thankless job, especially being a conservative in a state like this. To win and beat Andrew Cuomo, I actually think it would be pretty easy, but it's got to be the right candidate with a lot of money.
It's got to be the right candidate, but his shelf life has really peaked.
Yeah.
We didn't have a good candidate last time, but I definitely feel this time. You got to remember, the New York City Democrats hate this guy.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I don't understand.
but they will
Core.
not go off the line.
Yeah.
They're not going to go off the line.
Common Core, the SAFE Act, right? The abortion, the giving illegals driver's licenses, the DREAM Act. when you interview everyday New Yorkers, they hate everything he does, but yet he walks back into office. I hope and pray that we can get somebody. I heard maybe one of the Trump sons were going to run. I thought, all right, that would be great. They got the resources to do it, and they got the name recognition. That's what you really need. You need the resources to be able to continuously pound the message of the foolish things that are happening in this state, which most people don't agree with.
I know, but think about it. Most people, most sane people, do they want to stick their neck out now in New York City the way it is going right now?
Yeah,
It's
no,
gonna
they
take
don't.
It's going to take a certain fighter to stick their neck out and say, you know what, I'm willing to take it on.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of people are running for cover right now
Yeah.
because it's gotten so bad.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Dipietro, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. Now,
Thanks,
you're
Mike.
going to be live on News Radio 930 WBEN this weekend.
On Saturday.
Russ Thompson, Carol Palladino, and you. That's an awesome show. I always know it's an awesome show when people say, "Hey, Mike, I love your show, but I like it better when they fill in." I'm like, I think that's a compliment. I'm not really sure though. So, all right, we'll see. We'll make sure you check out News Radio 930 WBN 1 to 3 this week, and you got the power trio: Russ, Carl, and David Dipietro. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Place where money meets politics. Our website, financialguys.com.